My name is Marco Benatar. I'm 26 years old and I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, but I spent the greater part of my life in Brussels, Belgium. So I've lived here for many years now. I knew people who had studied in the US, friends of mine who were a bit older than me, and they always were speaking about the amazing experience that they had had when they were in the United States in various cities. So I thought I'll try my luck and see what happens. It sounded so great. I wanted to have the same kind of experience. I think it's as simple as that. Also, because I knew that American education was something special. I mean, at least it was something different. I enjoyed my education very much in Belgium. I went to law school here. I thought that was a very good experience. But I knew that American universities was something different. They had a different approach. I wanted to experience it. Yeah. It's very cumbersome. Plus, and this is something quite specific for me, I had the added difficulty at the time of being on an Erasmus. So I was doing an exchange program in Barcelona in that day. That was in the academic year of 2006-2007. So I had to get a lot of documents from my law faculty back in Brussels, Belgium. And I was, more than 1,000 kilometers away in Spain. So thanks again to my mother and my father for helping me with all that. So to anyone who's abroad whilst applying for studies in the United States, it's an added difficulty. You really have to think about that. There's a lot of extra work to be done, a lot of administrative stuff. It's not hard, intellectually speaking, but it is a lot of work. So really think about that and befriend the secretariat of your faculty. That always helps if they like you. Makes things go much quicker. So I did my LLM at NYU School of Law. It was a specialized LLM. So in general, law schools offer two types of LLMs. You have the, let's say, general LLMs, where you can pick any kind of amount of courses that you like as long as you fulfill the minimum amount of credits. So you can take a bit of American law, a bit of international law, banking, business, constitutional, you name it. They usually have all those varieties. I opted for a specialized LLM, which means that you follow a certain program. You still can choose between a lot of courses, but they're always in the same domain, or at least most of your credits are in the same domain. And then at the end, you're awarded a specialized degree. I think both are great and they have equal value, definitely on the job market. But if you really know what you want to do, as was my case, then you can opt for a specialized. And if you want to have more of a broad knowledge, learn a little bit of everything, then you should do a general LLM. So I chose for the specialized LLM in international legal studies. I mainly took courses in the areas of public international law and legal theory. The reason, my choice had very much to do with the university that I studied at. So I applied to different universities in the United States, also in other countries, but mainly in the United States. But I knew that I wanted to study at NYU. Of course, it was a difficult process applying and writing your letters of motivation and whatnot. But they have a very famous program in international law. That's the reason why I wanted to go. Obviously, the city of New York was an added reason, I must admit. And I was lucky enough to be accepted. So I wanted to go there and it worked out fine, so I was ecstatic. Actual classes were quite fun, and this is something very, this is something typical for American law schools and for American law students especially. They're very opinionated, and that was a bit of a surprise at first, because in continental Europe, when you go to law school, usually it's a teacher who speaks and you listen, you write everything down, you go home, you study it, and you reproduce all the information that you've learned or accumulated. In America, you have to do your readings every week, and then a teacher can call upon you. You have to talk, you have to give your opinion, which is something quite new. I wasn't used to that. It was hard at first. And then many American students will often give their opinion, and you start a whole debate. It's quite exciting. I wouldn't say that I agreed with everything that they said, but it's all about the debating. So I learned a lot from that. I think that the whole aspect of thinking critically, I really learned that in the United States. I say that's the greatest thing in terms of my academic experience. New York is just, off the charts. It's It's very much alive. You're constantly, energized, really dynamic. It's hard to explain really. It might be sounding a bit abstract, but I can't really think of specific highlights, but just the fact of living there and the day-to-day experience that was amazing. At times overwhelming, but all in all amazing. Yeah. Ja, het klinkt misschien cliché, maar ik ga het toch zeggen. Het is echt de moeite waard. Ik vond het zelf fantastisch. Gewoon doen. En je moet het van mij wel aannemen, want ik ben wel serieus over zo'n dingen. Dus ja, voilà.